Bondi Beach, Brown University, and other attacks. Well, we've just had some recent tragedies, but there's a lot of lessons to be learned from these tragedies. These lessons include things such as gun control don't work. We're going to go into that. We're also going to talk about situational awareness and how that is important to also not only just for your safety, but even in stopping some of these actions. And we're going to talk about xenophobia, hatred, and things like that. So let's get into it. Let's get straight into it. What happened at Bondi Beach? We had an attack where two shooters uh, ended the lives of 16 individuals. 16 innocent individuals lost their lives in Bondi Beach, and 29 were injured. Now, I believe one of those 16 was one of the guys going bang bang. We're going to show them the weapons and we're going to discuss these things. So just hang on. We do have the identity of one of these shooters. His name was Naveed Akram. Naveed Akram. And indeed, this was at a Jewish Hanukkah facility at Bondi Beach in Sydney, Australia. It was day one of Hanukkah. So this apparently was a religious motivated event. It was an event motivated in the seat and depths of hatred, something I have been lecturing about here, how with hatred in our hearts, we're not going to survive ourselves for very long. But this is where this came from. It probably stems from all the stuff in the Mid East. Now, these guys, there was one Israeli citizen who lost their lives in these events, but that citizen was um, and the rest of them. Were they in Palestine attacking the Palestinians? No. They were in Australia living innocent lives as far as I could tell. So that's the problem with hatred. People hate people because of all kind of preconcepts in their head. And we're not going to survive if we keep this up, guys. But right now we got some things to turn around. We got some issues. The hero of the day was another Muslim. Yes, the hero of the day was Ahmed Al Ahmed. Indeed, he was quite a hero because he without any firearms training attacked and tackled a man carrying a shotgun. Let's say scatternog. I gotta be careful what language I use on there. Took it from him and named it at him. I don't think he knew how to pull the trigger, but he got hit twice. He's in the hospital. But this man ought to be accorded as a hero. Now, what does this teach us? It teaches us several things. It teaches us one, and I'm going to show you how he attacked. I'm going to show you how he got him, and this has to do with situational awareness. He was definitely a brave man, and he didn't have to do this, but he felt moral courage that what was going on had to be put to an end, and he did his part. Unlike so many times in these big cities, when Americans are standing around watching somebody getting raped or attacked and just stand around, do nothing, say nothing, don't even call the authorities, just pass by. How many times does that happen? Way too much. But this guy did what a man ought to do. And he wasn't particularly a big guy, but he jumped this other guy and overpowered him. He used element of surprise, took this scatter nug from him and aimed it at him. This guy was backing up, and the guy doing him, he got hit twice, like I said. But this teaches us that not everybody of the Muslim faith is bad. This guy was a big hero. The problem is that a lot of people get radicalized and they let that hatred get set in their hearts and they act on it. And there's a lot of radicalization going on around the world today, including in our own universities, teaching hatred. None of this fits. It's all misplaced. This we got to get out of. Now, people that are radicalized are dangerous. Make no bones about it. We've got terrorist cells in this country that are sleeper cells that we're going to have to watch out for because they're a threat to us, and we're going to talk about that too. So I'm going to share some snippets here for you guys to see. Give me a second. Ding, 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 ding. Hit the share button. And here we are. This was the weapon used. Like I said, it's either a pump or I don't see the mechanism for pumping. This is probably a semi-automatic scatter nud. Let's just call it that. Now, if you look at this picture, if I can blow that up, the magazine goes all the way to the end of the barrel. I can't buy those here in the United States like that. Most of them are chopped off way back here. So they may have modified this one to hold extra rounds. I don't know. I think you can buy them in the United States with special permits and so forth. But this was not a AR type weapon. It was not a what they call military assault type weapon. And believe you me, nobody uses ARs in warfare. You're only if you have to defend yourself, but no soldiers are toting those things. But this was the weapon of attack. Kind of like a big long mag Mossberg, basically. Uh, so the video of this guy, I'm not going to play the video because YouTube would hit me if I did it, for violence or something. So I'm not going to play it. This is a still shot. A still shot. This is one of the gunmen. He's got that thing aimed out there. But notice what? He's focused out here where he's what's downrange him. Totally focused on that. He's not watching because he's not watching this guy from behind him. He starts out behind this vehicle. He comes around, and what's he do? He runs and jumps this guy. The guy didn't even know he was coming, which is two things. This guy knew because this guy was focused out here that he could attack him. This is situational awareness turned into a good thing. This guy understands that this guy is not really situationally aware either. Usually attackers ought to be, you think anybody ought to be situationally aware. I talk about that all the time on here. This guy took advantage of this guy's lack of situational awareness to jump on him. Even though he's the attacker, he got attacked. The attacker got attacked. The armed attacker got attacked and overpowered by an unarmed man due to the element of surprise and situational awareness. Now, this man was not a big guy, but he had a big heart and a lot of bravery. He did what few would do. Unarmed, untrained in firearms, jumped an armed man prosecuting an attack. This guy should be given major awards and kudos. He's probably saved a lot of lives that day because he took one of them down and he took a couple of shots for it. So my hat's off to him. Let's go here and look. As we can see, the attacker is Naveed Akram from Bonnie Rig in Sydney's Southwest. And his home is currently under police investigation. Now, I don't know if this was the guy up on the bridge or the guy there standing there. They both started out on the bridge, I believe, from the pictures I've seen. And this guy, I guess, come off the bridge and he starts walking, making an attack, banging at folks. And guess what? He got taken out by one of his own. Well, this guy wasn't radicalized, obviously. He had a good heart about him. So, proves a couple of points. One, where hatred can take you, and the fact that everybody of the faith is not caught up in that hatred. I can expand this picture a little bit here. There you go. There's a better view of it. So, like I said, I'm not going to. Yeah, I saw where somebody posted on Facebook showing the whole video, and their video got deleted by Facebook. So really, I'm not going to show you that. But anyway, so this is the shooter, and this is the hero right here. Here he is. He ain't a big guy. Ahmed Al-Ahmed. Film, yeah, there he is. I guess he's getting medical attention. So hats off to him. Hats off to this man. A lot of admiration. He's got some blood or something going on there, or I guess a tendon to shoulder or back or something. Yeah, he's been hit, but he's still conscious. He's still walking and talking. Uh, anyway, so Dr. Clayton, Australia was the gold standard on gun control. Oops, I said that word. On NUG control. Yikes. But it still happened. But they're blaming it on recent proliferation of firearms. They say, well, stuff is starting to spread again, blah, blah, blah. And the whole country will have to reconsider what they're doing, blah, blah, blah. But they do at the end of this article. This article is a call for gun control. They recognize that there is such thing now, what they call new threats of 3D printing weapons. And then they're worried about this growing citizen sovereign movement. Of course, they always got to pick on anybody who wants freedom, right? That's what they always do. Pick on the people that want freedom, not the people that are causing the problems. That's been a problem in Western society. Yo, you the criminal? Oh, okay. Pat, pat, bye-bye. Oh, you want freedom? Lock him up. You know, and in Britain, they've been throwing people in jail for posting the truth on Facebook. And the guys that they were posting the truth about were committing horrendous crimes, get the pad on the hand and sit back on the street. Serious. And that's why some members of our administration have been railing against some of the European peoples. And, you know, J.D. Vance, you know, and Hicks both have railed against that. And that's why, but guys, this is awful what's happened here. The people that lost their lives and the people that have been injured. But this isn't the only place this is going on. And we're going to show you. Yeah, you know, I've got video. I've seen the video of this guy who lives up in the mountains in the Philippines. He don't even have electrical power. I think he's got lathes and such, but apparently he runs off solar or generator. He's totally off grid. He lives up in the mountains remote, and he makes weapons. He makes firearms that look like they're brand new straight from the manufacturer. He can copy about any firearm in the world. Really good work looking craftsmanship. We're talking, you know, pocket versions up to all kind of stuff. And he sells them out there. He sells lots of them. People can make this stuff. And guys, if you've got, you got to remember what happened in what started the big gangs, the criminal gangs in the United States. Prohibition. Suddenly things that people want are no longer available by law. So somebody can provide these things, breaking the law to the people that want them, and they make a ton of money. So they set up criminal networks. These criminal networks originally trafficked in alcohol. When alcohol was legalized, they switched to drugs. Now, we don't want to give them a whole new market of firearms, do we? And believe you me, if they could smuggle the stuff across the border they smuggle today, uh, people and drugs in great vast quantities, you think they couldn't smuggle in firearms or components thereof? You think they couldn't set up shop anywhere they want and make stuff, especially with 3D printing technology today? If you don't believe that, you got an issue. Now, here's my point. When nugs are outlawed, let's just call them that, only outlaws will have nugs. That's no axiom, but you saw it right there in Australia. Happened today in Australia. Proof and point. When nugs are outlawed, only outlaws will have nugs. Pardon me for switching the word around. Maybe somebody don't like that. Well, kiss my grits. I'm on a platform here that will deplatform people if you use the wrong language. So I have to be really careful. And a lot of channels are getting banned, and mine is getting shadow banned and quashed almost to non-existence. To the point I'm really got to evaluate if I want to keep doing this. I put a lot of work into these videos, but some people don't like that you have to be careful on here. Well, bite mine. You know, what can I say? I'm tired of coddling people who are self-righteous that don't do anything. You know, who armchair critics. Get out and do something besides criticizing people who are trying to warn you about what's going on. Yeah. So it's all right, guys. I'm gonna play back tough. I got to. There's no choice. And if you don't like it, bye. Get out of here. Anyway, let's go on. I'm gonna talk about some of the things that you need to be aware of, and we're going outside of this a little bit. In Brown University, they detain a person of interest. They know who he is, but they won't tell you, will they? No. What does that mean? It means he ain't white. That's what that means. Isn't that always what that means? What happened at Brown University? Well, now here's another example of situational awareness. You think you're safe. You're in the library or you're in your classrooms after hours. You got to have a card to get in there. You're in a quiet little space studying, working, and you think you're okay. Just like the people that were going to a religious holiday party on the beach in Sydney. They thought they were okay. Like the couple different girls who were on a bus or a train looking at their little iPhones. One got a sharp instrument applied to her, a lady from Ukraine, whose life was unfortunately taken in that fashion, and one got gasoline doused on her and set on fire. Minding their own businesses, but situationally unaware. So these are kids in school, just studying, just kids. And somebody went in and into the lives of two of them and injured several more, I think 9 more in this case, and got away. Well, now they've captured somebody. Person of interest, but where is it? Where's he from? Was this a sleeper cell agent, maybe? See, that when they don't want to tell you who it is, think about the Charlie Kirk thing. Boy, how many pictures you see this guy posted, or the suspect, ahead of him being captured? They had some suspect photographed up one side and down the other. And that was plastered all over the interweb. Call it that on purpose. What did George Bush call them? Internets? Anyway, so guys, this is they're hiding something. And when they won't tell you much about them, you can, it's almost automatic. Bing! Cut it out, news media. Just cut it out. Just come out with the truth. Say what it is. Quit being so dicey about it. Quit being trying so politically correct and woke. Just spit it out. Who is it? You know, or the police know. Somebody knows, and they're not telling. Maybe they will later. And at some point they got to, I would suppose. But this is just so much horse rubbish here. Anyway, let's move on because we're going to get down to a case of a woman in New York City. She was in the bathroom changing a diaper on her little daughter, and she got attacked by a crazy homeless woman with a sharp instrument, not a nug, a sharp instrument, because New York City's got big nug control. So what happens when you take away the nugs? Well, only criminals have them, but then a lot of criminals have sharp instruments. And this woman got attacked. Well, she fought off her attacker, fortunately. I don't know what cost to her. But guys, the whole point here is it's being situationally aware. This is part of the lessons learned for today, to be situationally aware, because you never know. You're in a bathroom changing a kid's diaper, for Pete's sake. You're in a park beach. You're sitting on a bus, and everything is totally quiet all around you. That little Ukrainian girl, well, the guy that attacked her was laid up against the window like he was asleep behind her. It was totally quiet. And then suddenly, she's in great pain. Her life's over. And for what? She didn't do anything. She was just born a certain way. And for that, she was attacked. Well, that's the insanity of it all. The problem that a lot of people of color have is that their disadvantages they've faced in the past was due to the situation and the way they were born. So their defense should be that nobody should be attacked because of the way they were born. And yet some of them do the same thing, and they find ways to justify it. It's hatred. Hatred is an instrument of the devil, and he uses it against us. As Star Wars is kind of goofy, really, but sometimes they put some good stuff in there, like, how did Anakin get turned? Well, hatred was put in his heart, and that hatred was fanned, and it turned him into an evil monster. Well, there's a lot of truth to that. That's got a whole lot to do with how people turn into monsters. And the worst monsters there ever have been walk on 2 feet. And we're not talking about Godzilla. We're talking about human beings who get consumed by hatred. That's easy to do. Maybe we all got a little bit of it in us, but we've got to learn to tamp the flames down. We've got to learn to have some perspective. That don't mean you stick your head in the sand and like some groups advocate, and don't look at the threats that are really legitimately there, like from the Islamists. Islamists are not the regular everyday Muslims. They're the ones who have been inflamed into radicalization, politicalization, as Glenn Beck calls them, political. He says politicalized Islam. Well, it's a little bit more than that because anybody that's Islamic and in politics is politicized, right? But it's a specific kind of politicalization. Unfortunately, it is pretty widespread. But there's a big conflict going on in the Mid East. I've talked to you guys in the past about feuding and what that means. Let's look at some other statistics here before we go on, and then we'll get back into this stuff. All right. As you know, in 1997, the United Kingdom passed major nug control laws. Now, I'd seen articles after that talking about farmers were living in fear at night when they went to bed, fear of being attacked because a lot of them suddenly were getting attacked they didn't used to. So when you don't have a means to defend yourselves and people assume that you're defenseless, they're a lot more likely to attack you, especially if you're an old farmer. There's that old adage, God made man and Sam Colt made man equal. Of course, now Sam Colt only sells to the government. The government. But anyway, guys, so there you go. An old farmer can defend himself against some young thug if he's got the means to make him equal. You know what I mean? But in any event, so a lot of them were getting attacked after after their rights were taken from them. Because the government and other governments, they think that rights come from the government. In the United States, these are inalienable rights. They come to us from the greater creator, not the government. We form our government. Anyway, so theoretically, they're trying to turn that around on us. That's something we got to be careful with that. But look here what's happened. In the calendar year 2024, there were police recorded 54,587 offenses. 54,587 offenses involving a knife or sharp instrument. So much for nug control, right? I'm telling you, it don't work. And when you got it, only outlaws got them. So by definition, you are an outlaw if you got one, right? Yes. When nugs are outlawed, only outlaws have nugs. And they're a whole lot more confident in going attacking innocent people and people that wield sharp instruments. Now, let's talk about this. I'm going to end the share here. Stop the share, but we'll talk about this in general. Sharp instruments, the knives. If you were in close quarters with somebody, right upon them, that's the worst weapon you can have. That's the worst weapon you can employ in a fight. And if you're on the receiving end, oh no. Big, long, lots of stabs. We're talking many stabs and long cuts. Let's see. Knives are silent. They got an infinite magazine. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Sharp instruments, damage really bad. We're talking multiple and close quarters. It's hard, getting a nug out and pointing it and all this stuff. It's more complex. A blade is a lot easier to use in short and close quarters. Now, if you're up on somebody and you got a blade, you can about charge them before they can pull that nug out. But people with sharp blades don't want to go up against people that got nugs, especially at a little bit of distance, because nugs are the best weapon over distance, unless you're really good at throwing those blades. Really good at it. Believe you me, I've done a little blade throwing. And yeah, I could stick them in. And I hadn't known a whole lot of axe throwing, but I found myself to be exceedingly good with that very fast. It's like, yeah, against somebody who was doing a lot of axe throwing, complaining, oh, I can't get this, it's so hard. I just walked up and after my second trial was a direct hit, and thereafter hit. It's like, been doing it all my life. Maybe all my last life or two. Anyway, I was really good at the axe throwing. But anyway, all that aside, those are incredible weapons. Incredible weapons. So, nug control don't work. What are our lessons here? Nug control don't work. Guys, and here's another thing. If somebody's got enough hatred in their heart And then you can't find an illegal nug to buy, which is kind of mind-boggling in any modern civilization, no matter how much nug control there is. They got a car. They can run over people. They could have took a vehicle and just one person, not two, could have drove down that beach. They could have. I mean, remember a couple years back when this guy drove a vehicle through a Christmas parade and took out. There's a lot of little girls and grandmas marching. Really sad stuff, right? They took a bunch of people out. You know, these things have happened where people use cars for homicide and bombs. They're so easy to build, it's not funny. To making explosives, don't take a rocket scientist, take it from a rocket scientist. Yeah. And I got a rocket motor here full of hydroxyl terminated polybutylene, which is the advanced solid rocket fuel used in military rockets, except they don't have the ammonium chloride mixed in it, so it's not explosive. But you throw some nitric oxide down it, and yeah, that rocket motor's actually been burnt, but not burnt up. It's still useful fuel in there. So, yeah, explosives are easy to make from common, everyday, readily available materials. People can build bombs all day long. You got cars. There's many ways to cause great major mayhem for those that have hatred in their hearts. And the technologies that are coming out, it's just going to proliferate. It's going to get more and more and worse and worse. So that's what they're saying. Lesson one is nut control don't work. Nut control only outlaws when nugs are outlawed. Only outlaws will have nugs. Now the other lesson is situationally awareness, and there's two sides to that. One side is, hey, you can use it to end the guy who's doing something bad, or the people that are doing something bad that who they attack is people that's not situationally aware. So you need to stay situationally aware. And if you've ever noticed when I'm outdoors doing videos outdoors, I'm usually not looking around all the time. And it's not something I do consciously. I do it subconsciously. It's just like wired into me. So I do that. I keep an eye on what's going on around me. I just do that. It's just what I do when I'm outside. I'm always looking around and I don't think about it. It's just I've always been that way. It's wired into me. But there was one day I wasn't doing it, and I nearly walked into a nug fight. I walked right into one. It was one of those days I was actually in Georgetown, up in the Washington, D.C. area. I was walking up Wisconsin Avenue, right off the corner of Wisconsin and uh, M Street, I think. The main street, it runs by the river, by the Potomac. I believe it was M Street in Wisconsin. You know, they had this big bank with a golden dome back then. It was called the Riggs Bank. I think it's been renamed. But I was shopping, window shopping was my problem. I was looking in the windows as I was walking by. And I walked around the corner, and this old guy uh, was handing out religious literature. He says, you need Jesus Christ. And I just shrugged, you know, like I didn't need to worry about that right then. And then I'm walking down the street and looking in this store windows. You know, like, this is interesting. Like, a lot of stuff up there. I wasn't used to where I was at. But anyway, suddenly I hear feet running in my direction, like in a semicircle, like all from this side, all around, but just this one way. Instinct says that ain't the problem. I look in the other direction, not where the people come from, but what's in the other direction. And standing out less than a hand's distance from me is two guys. As I'm standing there, one of them reaches over and slices the other guy's face open with a knife. And he stands there and does this and runs across the street. The guy's holding his face slit open with a knife. So I almost walked into a knife fight. I mean, if I hadn't heard the feet and stopped, I would have hit him. I would have walked right into him. I was less than arm's length away. I was that close. So I was like, whoa. I turned around and started walking back down the other way. The guy had to legislate. See, I told you. I told you need Jesus. I said, yes, sir. Anyway, so there's a story about situational awareness. And the one time that I know I was in violation of where I should have been. It got me in trouble. But instinct probably saved my end. uh, instinct saved my stinky end because I heard his feet coming, and instead of looking at them, I looked in the other direction. I stopped and looked in the other direction. Yeah, that was my saving grace at that point. So, guys, situational awareness is crucial. And especially today, what you don't know is you could be changing a baby's diaper. You could be shopping at Wally World, God forbid. You you could be doing just any everyday life thing out in public, and you could be attacked. Somebody may be coming into your home. You just don't know. You need to be situational where keep your eyes open, especially we're coming into a time of danger now where the hatreds are really up and there's a lot of sleeper cells that may be about to get activated. A lot of people are talking about this right now. A lot of people in the government and lots of YouTube channels are talking. Yep, 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 yep. Tons of them constantly. I didn't hear any YouTube channel at all talking about this when I brought this to you. Now, those guys are getting hundreds of thousands of views, and I'm getting, interesting. Anyway, so that's why I need you to share my videos and help me keep this channel successful. I really need help, guys. Share my videos. Comment below what you think is really about to happen, what you think about these events. What else we learn is that there's good people. There's what my dad used to tell me. My dad always told me there's good people and bad people anywhere, good and bad. He said there's also good and bad in every person. But he said there's anywhere you go, any group you go to, there's good and bad people in anywhere, no exceptions. And you can see that in what happened today. You can see that in that Muslim who took down the other Muslim. That was a really good man, brave man. Like I said, in New York City, stuff like that happens all time, and people just walk by, just walk by. Or they videotape. Oh, look at this. No, that guy did the right thing. Hats off to him. Salute to him. Anyway, so guys, we are in dangerous times. Subscribe to my channel if you've not done it. Bang the bell and click all. And let's keep our eyes wide open and the head on the swivel because we don't know what's coming. You really don't. And I think we're about to come into some very interesting times. But a lot of lessons learned from this. A lot of lessons learned from all these events. They all tie together, and they're not changing my message. But you can bet your bottom bippy that everybody in the world is going to try to use all these to take your freedoms from you. And all that's going to do is take your safety from you. They will tell you that it's for your safety, but it's going to be the opposite. It's going to be for their control. So we don't need their control. Anyway, thank you for watching, and Greg out.